So to demonstrate strict mode, let me add another script file. Test script.js, and inside this let's just add a simple function for adding two numbers, a b, and we are returning a plus b. Awesome. And we just need to include that script inside that HTML file. Script src equal to we need to include test script here, right? And if now we can refresh the page and open up our console, we have access to add function, and we can give two numbers and it will return the answer, right? So where is this strict mode? We haven't applied on this file yet. So to apply, let's first update our implementation in a way that we need to store the result of this computation, and we will return the variable c. And if we check now, the result will be the same, so it's working fine. But we haven't follow the standards, right? If you can see that we are creating a global variable here, which is a very bad approach. So let's assume if you are using a variable name like window or document here, basically you will be updating the global variables of window and document, and you will be updating the value of those global variables. So the use of global variable is not a good practice. So to apply such rules, we use strict mode of JavaScript. So in conclusion, the strict mode in JavaScript is nothing else just the application of those rules. We are enforcing those set of rules and standards in our JavaScript code. So to demonstrate that thing, we will use strict keyword in the top of our JS file. And if I Control S and go back to my web page, and now if I call that add function, it will return us an error. You can see that reference error, C is not defined. So these kind of rules are enforced from this strict mode of JavaScript. It helps us to standardize our code and follow the best practices. So that's it. That's all about this strict mode. There are different things that strict mode different rules that strict mode enforces in the JavaScript. So we will just explore the couple of them, but not all of them, because the purpose of this demo is just to show you guys how to use strict mode and what actually the strict mode is, right? So there is another concept in strict mode which is scope. So if you declare this line at the top of this script file, this strict mode will be applied on all the functions inside this file. But we can also limit the strict mode scope on per function. So to demonstrate this thing, let's just add a subtract method b, and we will be returning the result of the subtraction of a and b in this way, right? So in this case, the strict mode will be applied on all the functions, right? So if now we refresh and call the add, as well as the subtract, it will give us the error in both the cases, right? But what if we just cut the strict mode line, the use strict line, and we paste that one here in subtract method? So in that case only the subtract method will be follow the strict mode rules, but not the add method, right? Let's just quickly review this one. Okay, the subtract method is still following, and if we call the add is working fine as previously, right? So that was related to the scope of strict keyword, right? The strict mode. So let me just put that again in it on the top of the file. So another rule is we can't name the variables, the arguments the same name, right? We can't use a comma a here because this is against the strict mode, and if you just refresh just on the loading, it is showing that duplicate parameter name not allowed in this context, right? So that was another rule, right? So another rule is you can't delete a variable like this, right? You can't do it. And if you can just see that, now you will be shown the delete of a unqualified identifier in strict mode, right? If we just comment this line, there should be no error now, right? You can see the error is gone. So let me just uncomment this one, let me just remove this one. And also, what is alert? If we use alert this in this context and we are using the strict mode, it will alert undefined. If you call this subtract, you can see alert is undefined because this will be undefined in strict mode. But what if we just comment out this use strict line and just refresh our page, and if now we call, you can see that this is basically the window object in non-strict mode, right? So these are the some rules that the strict mode applies on your JavaScript code if you use the use strict keyword in the top of your file or inside your function. Depends what kind of scope you want to implement, right? Some of the things are you can't use predefined keywords as your variable names. So what I mean by this is, let's say you store the result of a plus b into eval, where eval is a reserved in JavaScript, right? So I am just commenting the strict mode, and if now I refresh and call the add, it should work fine. But as soon as I apply the strict mode, it will throw us an error, right? You can see that unexpected eval or arguments in strict mode. So what this means is neither eval nor arguments should be used as variable names in your JavaScript code, because these both are the reserved keywords. So another thing is you can't delete a function, as I previously demonstrated that we can't delete a variable, right? So we are in strict mode and I just refresh, you can see that, oops, let me just update this thing, and I just refresh. So you can see that delete of a unqualified identifier in strict mode, right? So what if I comment that strict mode and go back on our page? So it's working fine, right? Awesome. So these are some rules that strict mode enforces on your JavaScript code. The strict mode was introduced in ECMAScript 5. So till now, almost all the browsers are giving support of strict mode, and as it's been used as a string literal, so for the backward compatibility point of view, if browser is not supporting that strict mode, it will not cause any issues. What I mean by this is, if I use some random string at the top of our file, so this is just a string, and it will behave as not enforcing the strict mode. So if the browser is not supporting the strict mode, the use strict will be treated as just a normal string, so nothing damage will be done to your code. So that's pretty much it about the strict mode. You can see the whole lot of list on W3 schools regarding the strict mode rules. So hopefully now you have the idea how important this strict mode is, how it is helping us to enforce set of rules to standardize our code, and don't get lost in the code, and don't get update the global variables and messed up with our own code. So hopefully this video is helpful. So keep watching Tech and Talk. Have a good day. Bye bye.